it's Kristen with Simply a Steward, and I'm back with another haul today, but today it's going to be a homeschool supply haul. Now this is not any of like my curriculum or books that I'm going to be using, it's just supplies. We are switching. We did mainly a K-12 curriculum before this. We were a part of a cyber school, and the cyber school that we were a part of, you could do a track called Async, which meant that they mailed us all of the materials and I taught everything. My kids didn't have classes with anybody other than me. They did do some online things that were in like an online school. It's kind of like a teaching textbooks where they teach, but it wasn't an actual teacher. It was just like an online program for a few things. But everything else I taught. So, and this year we are switching straight to a traditional homeschool. We've done that for 4 years. And I'll get more into that when I talk about my curriculum. But because of that, we are changing a lot of the way our setups are rolling and getting some supplies that we didn't have before, some things that like other homeschoolers might have found in the past years and they already had and they kind of passed down from one kid to the next. And we didn't have all those things. So I'm going to go ahead and spin the camera around and show you what I got. I went to Walmart, Target, and the Dollar Tree to go ahead and stock up on our stuff for this year. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is what we got. And I'm going to start on this side. This stuff primarily is from Walmart, and I'll tell you when I switch over. But I got these really cute folders my girls picked out. We keep a binder that each subject is marked with tape, and then we keep all of their loose papers from there in here, and then it makes it easy that I can choose things for a portfolio. We don't lose papers through the year. If it's something I specifically want for the portfolio, we can pull it out of their workbooks and tuck it in here ahead of time. So we do have these, and Walmart had a lot of these cute little Lisa Frank ones. I really didn't see a whole lot of other like cute ones. I'll show you in a few minutes over here that I got some from Target for my son, but there were literally almost no boy folders. There were some cars folders, which my son is 5 and just doesn't care for cars really at all, other than they take him places he needs to go. So I did not see a whole lot of boys folders, but they did have these, which was for me kind of nostalgia because I had Lisa Frank when I was a kid too, and they were the coolest thing if you were able to get just one. So they were excited they got all of these. These are for my 2 oldest girls, so they got 3 each. And then they each got one of these. I have a lot of notebooks. I've been a notebook hoarder. And if we don't use the full notebook, I just literally tear out all the pages that we have used and throw them away. And I keep the notebooks because I hate to throw things away. But I did let them each get one notebook that they could pick out that they liked. And they can use this for their writing prompts, with the hope that they will enjoy writing in them. The rest of them are kind of just plain and basic ones that I've gotten in the past. So some of them are even as old as my college notebooks and stuff that I have not used up. So they got those. These are for my 2 little ones. My big girls use a lot of colored pencils and they put their crayons back in their box pretty good. But I have a 3 and a 5-year-old and they don't always put their crayons back, especially my 3-year-old. And so I thought they have these little clips on them that they would be nice to throw just the crayons in there, and I don't have to worry about the box then. And they can bring these out to use them at the table, to do their art projects, or to color any worksheets that they have, and then they'll be simple to put away. I got just one set of, just dry erase markers. I tried all of ours, and most of ours were garbage. We had a couple left, so I picked up 2, so I made sure I had 2 fresh ones for the new year. I found these, which was nice. I don't find these very often in my area, but we have a lot of index cards that I'd like to go ahead and make into like rings. And I'm going to have sight word rings, even for my older girls, with some words that I want them to work on that I don't think that they'll be able to spell yet, especially for my oldest daughter. She struggles with spelling, but she reads really well. So I just want to go ahead and keep moving her along in some more words. And so I got these to go ahead and do that. And then this was the last thing from Walmart. I got tabs, We have binders for our geography units. We're working through learning just basic landforms and then the 7 continents with my son this year. And then my daughters are doing, for the next 2 years, a little more in depth over the states. And so I like these plain ones because they can cut out either the section of the states that we're working on or the continent we're working on, and they can color it and glue it and sit it on here, and they can write however they want. They can kind of decorate them instead of those plastic ones. And so I went ahead and got 3 of those. And then we're moving over here. This stuff came from the Dollar Tree. Now, we did get new pencil boxes. I'll be honest, we didn't really need new pencil boxes, but I thought this was super cute, and so did my girls. And a little throwback, my kids are all pretty much color coordinated. Now, my big girls did get matching ones here, but my kids are pink, purple, blue, and then green. This is as closest to green as it came. And when my son started preschool type curriculum last year with me, I realized the night before school that he did not have a pencil box. And so my husband quickly ran to the local store and got whatever they had, and it was green. And so that was not his color. So when he saw this at the store, he was so excited and wanted one. And so we went ahead and got it. My girls thought these were adorable. So for $1, I let them pick them up. And they're going to give me their old ones. I was going to get some new boxes of some kind to put some of our manipulatives in that I have gathered over the past few years, just to kind of organize them a little bit better. So I told them they could get new ones if they would give me their old ones, and then I could use that to organize things with. So they went ahead and they each got a new pencil box. Here we got hair ties, which for some people may not seem like school supplies, but my girls all have long hair and they like to play with their hair. And so that sometimes inhibits their school. They're, constantly pushing it out of their face. They're playing with it. And so we got new hair ties to put their hair up, because it seems like through the summer they have kind of disappeared. And my youngest didn't use hair ties last year, the 3-year-old. Her hair is getting quite long quickly this summer. And so she's been borrowing her sister's, and they seem to disappear. So we got those from the Dollar Tree. Back here we got 1 new folder each. Now, my son did not get one out of this, but he already has a folder in his drawer from last year. When the folders rip, we replace them. Otherwise, they just keep the ones that they have. So they also each have a folder in their drawer for any papers that I give them loose for the week, things that don't necessarily have a home. And so they each got a new folder, and I got one because honestly I thought this was adorable, and I have some papers that need filed and different things, so I figured I could put them in there. But they had that, they had a flamingo, and these are all, I don't know if you can kind of tell, they're like shimmery and sparkly, which my girls of course loved. And then it says be sweet and wear a crown, and then that one's the same as mine. Then I got this. It's a little student planner. It's nothing super special. My son really didn't need a planner, but he really wanted one. They didn't have many options. This one was as boy as it got. There was only like 3 different kinds, and he doesn't have a lot of subjects, so I got this. We can write down his stuff for him. My girls get their own planners because we are all a little on the type A side, and they like to be able to cross things off as they do them. And so for $1, I let him go ahead and get one there. He can, we'll write down his stuff every day, and he can cross it off just to kind of see when he's getting done with school. Maybe he'll use it, maybe he won't. That's why I went ahead and got him just the Dollar Tree one that he liked. So, and then we also picked these up for my son. The most of our pencils in our pencil boxes that we kind of get from places or have gathered through things like this, go to a birthday party and somebody passes one out, those types of things are very girly. I have a lot of Tinkerbell and princesses and stuff, and my son doesn't really have any. So I do have some just number 2 yellow pencils. How do you say that? The Ticonderoga? I don't know how you say it. I'm sorry. I have some of those also, but I wanted to go ahead and let him get a pack of these for the new school year, because I always let them have one special new pencil like this that I sharpen to start school out. And then my daughter's going to have red instead of pink. but red and pink are kind of, we'll know that that's hers. But they have these cute scented erasers, and everybody needs a new big eraser. We have a bunch of erasers that go on the top of the pencils, but I like them to have a big one like this in their pencil box. So I just bought a stack of this, I thought, for $1. 5 of them was really nice, and then I'll keep the extra one in my stuff for me, or if one of the kids loses theirs, we'll have an extra. And we got here some pencil grips, and they're like the sparkly, the soft little ones. My big girls like to use these on their pencils. They, especially my oldest, she tends to write more. She doesn't like to write, but she's going to be in 4th grade this year. We're doing 4th grade materials, so she is writing more than the rest of them. Now we'll see, which I'll get into when we do my curriculum. It's a little less writing, I think, than K-12, what we chose, but still, her hand gets sore. We do a lot of workbooks and different things, so they wanted these, and for $1, I said we would go ahead and get them for the big 2. I found these. We were almost out of the ones that I had for my girls. I had a couple for them, and I passed them down to the little 2. Now, one of these will mainly be for my son for this year, to practice handwriting and different things in when he needs to write things. And my daughter is 3, and she will be the only one not doing like real school of any sort this year. So she'll be, of course, joining in with us on some of the things we do. But she gets very jealous when she doesn't have things, so I went ahead and just got her one. If she uses some of it, great. If she doesn't, I'll have it for next year when she starts her pre-K stuff. Because my son used up all of the ones from my kids before, my big girls, when he did pre-K stuff last year. And the last thing I got was this cute binder. You can see it has like the finish on it. And it's not the flimsy ones. They have some real flimsy plastic. It is a real binder, a hard binder. And I just thought that that was so cute. It's I think a 1-inch, right? Yeah, 1-inch. So I thought that was cute for me. I did a lot of rearranging of binders this year so that I didn't have to buy binders. But I was the only one who was left without one then. I gave my green one to my youngest daughter, just for her, for when we do, we're going to be doing Story of the World again. I'll talk about that in my curriculum. But they each have binders for that kind of stuff and for geography and whatnot. So I gave my green binder that I had to my daughter and rearranged some binders. So I thought that I would get this one for myself because it was pretty. Now over here, you can see the most stuff that I got was from Target. We'll start down here in the corner. Again, we talked about the fact that my daughter thinks she needs her own school stuff. I do have some workbooks and stuff that have shapes and stuff in them, but I thought this was really cool because it's like a harder, it's not like a whiteboard, but it is like a harder cardboard kind of thing. And so I can just throw this in her drawer with the rest of her stuff and pull it out, and she can work on tracing this anytime she wants. When the big kids are doing work and she wants to be involved. I also got this. I really don't think she's going to work much on her letters. She might surprise me. She just turned 3. If she was like 3.5, going on 4, I think she would, but I don't know. Maybe she will. And later, like after Christmas, when she's getting closer to 3.5, she might be interested in doing some of this. So I got some of it just so she has something to work with. It was only $1, and again, that keeps her from getting into some of my other stuff. And if not, if she decides she doesn't want it, then we'll have it for next year when she actually starts some more pre-K stuff right after she turns 4. And then we got these, which also have, I got a bunch of flashcards over here, but I found this flashcards, and it's Presidents of the United States, and then these also. We didn't necessarily plan on working on presidents a whole lot, but my daughters were really interested in this, and so we went ahead and picked them up. I think we're going to go ahead and try and do a little unit study on these. If we don't, I will tuck them away for next year, and we will. But if they're interested in something, I'm saying let's go for it, because the whole mission statement of our school this year is going to be to love learning again. My girls have really fell out of love with their learning because the K-12 curriculum was a lot of busy work and a lot of not worrying about if you actually learned it or not. It was a public school curriculum where they just kept pushing you through. So it was nice that I got to teach everything, and I could kind of teach it at my own pace if we were having trouble on one lesson, but still by the end of the year, they kind of wanted you to be done. And so my girls felt really pressured. Some of the curriculum was just a little bit ridiculous. I am a teacher by nature. I did go to school for education, and so I was not impressed with it. And so they have really fell out of love with learning. So if they want to learn this, we're going to make time to go ahead and learn this year. And then I mentioned that we're going to be doing the states for geography, and I thought this was a cool, you can see it's 24 by 17. I do have some big wall maps, but we really don't have room to hang them up. So I thought when I saw this that we would go ahead and get this. I think that we can find somewhere to hang this up, and then we can just pull the other maps out to look at them. But this map will be up, and it's nice, and it's bright, and it's colorful. My girls really enjoyed looking at it just in the store, and that was, I believe, $1. Yeah, most of the stuff from Target came from the dollar spot, so we got that one, and we also got this one. Last year, my daughter was doing fractions. I made something similar to this, but it obviously wasn't a poster. I made it, and I laminated it for her because she wasn't grasping the concept of, like, that one and then two halves and thirds were, like, she just couldn't get that 1/4 and 1/4 were the same as a half. And this kind of shows that. And what I made kind of showed that too, but it wasn't very nice, to be honest. It was kind of a quick sketch, and then it helped her, so I laminated it so she didn't lose it. So when I saw this, I thought it would be great for both of my girls, and then, you know, in the future for the other two. So I went ahead and picked this one up. This one was also $1. Because a lot of the things we have up in our schoolroom right now are like colors and shapes and 1 to 10, which is great for my little two, but it's not really helpful for my big two. They're way past that kind of stuff. So I thought that that would be good to kind of put up in the classroom and share. It's still theirs, and there's things there that'll help them. We also got these. I went ahead and got one in everybody's color: pink, purple, blue, and green. I laminate a lot of stuff, and so we kind of use dry erase that way. So when I saw these little pockets, I thought that it would be really nice when I didn't really want to keep something long term, maybe. But I wanted to be able to use it maybe 2 or 3 days, that we could go ahead and throw it in here. A lot of the stuff I laminate is like stuff that I made for my oldest, and then I've passed down to the other ones. But there were sometimes things that I just wanted them to be able to use over and over again for a week or 2 weeks, and then I didn't want to have to use it anymore. And so something like that would be nice to throw in these pockets. And they were only, I think these were $1 a piece too, if I remember correctly. Yeah, down there, $1 a piece. And they had a few more colors too. So if you have little kids at home that you're homeschooling or that you're working with, or if you're a teacher of elementary or preschool kids, these are really cute. And then I mentioned that we were redoing some of our organization and different things in our homeschool room because of changing. And so I found these little clips, again, $1 at the dollar spot. And I wanted to be able to write on here. I switched where like our math manipulatives, oops, sorry, we lost focus. Math manipulatives and different things were, and I didn't want my kids to get confused on where some of the stuff was. Until they get used to it. And I thought even just for me, it would just be nice to go ahead and write, you know, math or art or whatever the manipulatives were in those canvas bins, and then clip these on, because the bins that I keep them in are canvas, and so I don't want to try and put like labeling tape or anything else on it. So I thought these were cute. We'll try them out. I don't know how great the dry erase part will be, but we'll see. I got these. We are going to try some more like nature notebooking this year. It's not something we've done in the past. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on it. I've done a lot of Pinterest. I thought these were cute because they were the, like spiral bound, and they were plain. And so they can just make it their own. I'm not going to have a real set curriculum of any kind. We're not really going to do a unit study per se. My son's science is kind of just going to be here, there, and everywhere. Because he's kindergarten, we're just going to learn about whatever is interesting to him at the time. So I thought that this would be a cute place to start. Of course, my 3-year-old thought she needed one too. I really don't think she needs one. I'm going to tuck it away. Hopefully she'll forget about it. But if not, I'll let her use the first few pages. But we use a lot of plain paper too, and just I keep all my worksheets and flip them over, and they can use them for scratch paper, and she colors on those too. So hopefully that'll distract her enough. But for my big kids, they can each make a notebook, and there's 70 pages in here. I think that's quite a lot. I don't know how much my kids will go through them and how quickly. I don't think we'll use more than this in a year. I do think that these will probably last more than 1 year. So these were like, I believe, 3 something a piece. They did have heavier ones if you're into like watercolors or you want your kids to use markers. We stick to mostly crayons and colored pencils, and so the medium weight was fine for us, but they did have ones that were like a heavier weight and made for those kinds of other drawing materials. Back here, this was on sale for $7.99. Our pencil sharpener from the past few years is about burnt out. Now this one is battery and not plug-in, which our last one was, so I'm not positive if I'm going to stick with this or not. I might return it. I'm going to talk to my husband. I don't know. It was kind of like an off-the-top buy. I just saw it and it was on sale, but I'm not positive yet. I might say return it, and then might be rethinking that into my 20th pencil being sharpened by hand. So I don't know. I got 2 things of glue. We didn't really need many school supplies like that: glue, markers, crayons. We had a lot of that, so I didn't really go ahead and get too much of that, but I did want to grab a couple of those kinds of glue just because we were running low. And then I got these. You've probably seen them if you watch other YouTube videos. They are like the magazine bins. They're, I think, 12.5 inches long roughly, and a little over 4 inches wide if you're interested. I had to measure them because I needed to measure my space. These were in the $3 bin. They do connect. I don't think I'm going to connect mine if I can help it. I got to try them in my space. I'm just getting these for my books that my kids are allowed to use whenever they like. I'm a bit of an organizational freak, and so I'm going to put these in a cupboard that we recently cleaned out of more baby toys, and put their books in there so that they're away from their school books. Not that I don't want them mixed in, I guess, but I just don't have enough room for all of them as my kids are getting older and I'm having more students that I'm actually using books for literature and science and whatnot. So we're going to move those into the living room where some of the toys were, just so that they can have more access to them. And then I got, my son got these 3 folders. He got basketball, soccer. He plays soccer. He can't wait for fall season to start, and then football. So they were sports related. That is a little more up his alley, but honestly, these were the only boy ones I could find at Target too. Boy folders are hard to find. I could not believe, my girls being older, that's usually what I've shopped for, how hard boy folders were to find. So he did find those, thankfully, since there was literally nothing at Walmart. These were like $1.96 a folder, though. I think they were pretty expensive. I paid up for them, but this is his first year. He only has 1 folder, so these ones will go in his portfolio to keep all of his papers until the end of the school year. And then I got these out of the dollar spot, which I was super psyched about. I found some of the plain white ones, $3. There are 8 books in them, 16 pages, so 8 sheets front and back. But they are just these little, focus, there we go, little books that they can like make their own books, and I really want to encourage my kids to love writing again. Writing is the biggest thing they probably fell out of love with in the past 2 years doing the K-12 curriculum. They used to enjoy making up stories and stuff, and now they just really dislike it. They had to do so much writing with them. So I got these hoping that they could make up some of their own stories. They could illustrate them and just be creative and enjoy it again. So they did have like composition type ones and some colored ones. I wanted the white ones so that it would clearly show any illustrations they did on them. But if you want like a red or a purple, they had those, and they also had like the marbled front composition style. And then I found these at the dollar spot. We always need extra bookmarks, and I thought those were cute, especially if my son's starting. I always let them pick them, but we used to go to the Christian bookstore and pick out a new set as part of their like back to school ritual, and they closed all of them. We even had like another one that wasn't Family Christian. It was a different one. And we were at the mall probably like a month or two ago, and it closed too. So when I saw these, I went ahead and picked them up. Unfortunately, they're not very boyish again for my son, but there wasn't a whole lot there. My girls did like these, and we have some other pretty neutral ones, so he can use those. So we picked those up. We picked up all of these. Again, we are working on geography, the states, and some of like the countries and the continents. So we went ahead and got this landmarks has like different places. I think my son, we can just kind of read about them. I'm not really worried about how much he retains at this point, just kind of getting him introduced to things. The United States, which my girls are working on over the next 2 years, like I mentioned. And so those are nice little flashcard set for them to use. And then flags of the world, again, for my son, can just kind of look at them while we're working on the countries. Nothing major again. I did find these animals, which I think I'm going to kind of use in my son's science some. And then for my daughter, just to kind of recognize, since she's 3, we're not going to do anything too formal, but I have a feeling she'll be involved in a lot of her brother's stuff. So we found those. And then the very last thing I bought were planners for me and my girls. They picked these ones out. They were, I think, $7 roughly. And they do have like a monthly view, and then they have the weekly view. And the lines on them, let's see if you can see this, sorry. The lines were pretty decently spaced. Sorry, it's having a hard time focusing. The other ones that were the same brand and the same size, the lines were actually really tiny. And while I can write that tiny, I think my daughter would have had a hard time reading them. And because she wanted one of the other covers. So they decided they would just get matching covers. They probably could use a notebook and just write the date each day at the top, but they really do like these. And again, I'm all about trying to get them to like school again this year. That is really our goal for me and my husband, is to get our girls to love to learn again. Last year was took a really big toll on our family using that curriculum, and my girls just going from loving learning the path, into hating learning, because we do traditional preschool. We always have. And so in kindergarten wasn't so bad, but as you got into some of the older grades, it just was too much. So I did let them go ahead and get those. I don't know if I'll get them every year, but we got them for this year. And then I wasn't actually going to get one. I was just going to use a notebook myself. And I found this, and I really kind of liked it. It does have all of this, which I don't need. If you're going to be, if you're a teacher in an actual school, in a brick and mortar type school, then you might need some of this stuff. But, class birthdays and stuff, I know my kids' birthdays, I don't need that. Weekly activity sheet. If you have co-ops or something, it might be nice to write that down. We, right now, have only found one co-op we might be involved in. Otherwise, it's just like gym class, like dance and soccer practices, which go in my personal planner. So I don't need all of that per se, but it did have this nice big spread, and it did have the days and then all of this. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do. It has a peer subject, and I think what I'm going to do is write each of my students' names on this side and use it for their individual subjects that I'm planning out, just to kind of give me a timeline. And then over here we do some subjects, all of us together, like our literature and our story of the world for history and stuff. And so I might use this side then to go ahead and plan out each of those, and then I can use a block, that'll give me all of the stuff that I need, opposed to just one line. Okay, math pages XYZ, science page XYZ for their workbook pages stuff. And so that's probably how I'm going to end up using it. We will see as the year starts what works best for us. But it did have that stuff. I think it had a few other little things in the front, but nothing really major. That's pretty much how it worked out. Maybe it wasn't in the front, it was in the back. Oh, here we go. Quick references, the yearly overview, of course. And then my kids thought this was neat because we were working on states and capitals. But it had some of that kind of stuff in the back too, and the holidays, if you use if you make your own homeschool planner, it's kind of nice to see when the holidays are, if you're planning on taking off certain holidays. And it shows you not only for this year, but the next few years, which also is kind of nice. I like that. That is what we got today. Well, I guess this week we went to a few different places throughout the week and got all of our different curriculum things, or sorry, different supply things. I will be showing my curriculum stuff. I ordered some things. I ordered some secondhand, and I ordered some off of Rainbow Resource. We were on vacation, and so I had to put a hold on my mail. We just got back, so I haven't got everything. And I noticed that a few of the people who I ordered secondhand, they haven't shipped yet, so I got a hold of them yesterday. I'm trying to get the rest of my stuff planned out, so hopefully it will be here soon. As soon as the rest of my curriculum shows up, I will go ahead and do what we're doing for this year. If you are interested, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I will be doing teaching kindergarten, second and fourth grade materials for the most part this year, and then I will have like I said, I will have my 3-year-old who will kind of just tag along. I don't think that I'm going to teach her really anything specific. I'm just going to let her tag along. So if you guys would like to see those all together, or if you guys would like me to do separate videos for each one, can you guys go ahead and drop a comment down below and let me know. Sorry, you can probably hear the door squeaking. We got home and the little two fell asleep, so the big two went out to play, and they're trying to be quiet, and that's why the door's squeaking slowly. Anyways, so yeah, if you guys would like those either together or separate, it would be awesome if you would drop a comment and let me know. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit the bell so that every time I post, you don't miss a video. And if you are a subscriber already, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.